Laoshi Lawrence McElroy here for Water Tiger School of Taijiquan. We've been away for a while. It's been nearly a month since we've posted a video. At holiday season, there is a lot going on. So we're back. But again, even though the situation is getting kind of hairy these days, things are still open. So we're still going to spread these out a bit. Not an every week kind of thing. But still on a relatively regular basis, every 2 to 3 weeks, we will continue posting. We're coming up on 2 years of the existence of this YouTube channel, quite soon, as a matter of fact. So anyway, so there's that. Today, we're going to return to pulling a single moment, well, yeah, single movement, I guess would be better, out of our approach, Water Tiger School's approach to the 24 posture form, and put it into a walking exercise. It's actually a transitional moment. We give it a name, but it is not a posture, and it is the way that we get from what we refer to as the apparent opening sequence, which includes our high pat on horse, into the first kick. Much different than a lot of other people take that approach. By the way, the movement is called, prepare yourself, Groin Strike. And warning, 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 danger, Will Robinson. This particular walking exercise is more or less walking lunges. So just keep that in mind. The depth is what works for you. You don't have to go as, you don't have to go terribly deep just because it's called groin strike. Depth that works for you. Same thing, as far as, protect your knees. Knee over ankle will be safest. We'll address all that. And we're going to start with a warm-up. And I'll introduce the warm-up here in a moment. We'll sort of fill you in on what that transition looks like in our approach to the 24, and then introduce you to the walking exercise. So let's start by talking about the warm-up. It's a little bit different. It's actually something that is brand new to the Water Tiger School lineage. A while back, a couple of years ago, I had the opportunity to go back and get the entire run of the publication Taijiquan Journal. I'd had a few issues, and then, shall we say, I had cat issues with a few of those issues. So I reached out to the publisher, and they had the complete collection. So the whole run. So I'm slowly working my way through it, issue by issue. And a couple of months ago, and I pulled this 2-part series to hand out in the studio program. It was, I'm going to read most of this, Huang Xingxiang's 13 Questions and Answers on the Tao of Taijiquan. It was autumn and winter, or summer and winter 01, which was their first publishing run, first year of their publishing run. And this particular warm-up series came from part 2. So it was the winter of 2001. And Huang Xingxiang referenced the 5 loosening exercises in his answer to the question, how should the movements be practiced in order that they can be applied usefully? And he referenced these 5 loosening or relaxing exercises at 2 points, at the beginning of his answer to that question and at the end. And the beginning, opening sentence from the article, take the 5 loosening or relaxing exercises as an illustration. The exercises are based on Taijiquan principles. During practice, there must be concentration, since any distraction will nullify any effects. Mindfulness in your movement. At the end of his answer, if you are not able to apply your movements usefully, then you still have not understood the basics of the 5 loosening exercises. They were never explained in the articles in the two-part essays. So I did some research and I found them. So our warm-up today, though part of me is thinking we really should do something lower body because we're going to do walking lunges, will be the first of the 5. So there you go. There's the day. I'm going to get a drink. I also want to point something out. You know, we've been talking, and I think you've seen her a couple of times, or you've seen the cats anyway. The swords have changed in the back. I had to find a Shyan in our collection that didn't have a tassel, and the wooden dowel that doesn't have a tassel, because they had become cat toys, or should I say kitten toys. So she's around here somewhere. She might join us, or the other 2 girls might join us too. So there you go. I'm going to get a drink. Finish my mint. That was actually an ice cube. Here's the mint. And do the big t-shirt reveal. Now I am out of fresh t-shirts. This one actually sort of has a deep meaning for me. The illustration is from an artist named D.L. Rust. I've never been able to find a title for this. I just call it Water Tiger. Water Tiger. But anyway, I also have a version of it on my back shoulder, which some of you may know. But anyway, just FYI, it has appeared twice since the beginning of the pandemic when we launched our Facebook Live series and our YouTube channel. The first time was March 21st of 2020, and that was a YouTube video regulating the breath. And then not too long after that, I think our second or third Water Tiger for Sachem Facebook Live. So it's been in front of the camera a couple times. But anyway, so there you go. Now, before we do the loosening exercise, I'm just going to do this. As if you know us, if you know Water Tiger School, you know me, you know I like this. So don't be fooled by the simplicity of the 5 loosening exercises. There's a lot going on. But really, you sort of find, within the movement, that joint-to-joint movement we talk about all the time in what we're doing. We're not, if we're doing ward off, it's not shoulder to fingertips. It's unfolding in the movement. And there's a lot of that in the 5 loosening exercises. Repetition, when you go back and, when you continue doing something over and over and over again, it's a challenge to our concentration, to our mindfulness, to our focus. It is one of the reasons there's a lot of repetition in Tai Chi and our floor exercises. So, brought the phone over here for a timer just so I don't do this forever. Feet are about shoulder wide and as close to parallel as possible. And there's going to be a turn, sort of a raise in the center and a settling and a turn. And you really want to make sure that you commit as much weight into that foot as possible. This one, for our purposes, really, I'm in my left foot. The right foot should really be empty, but still grounded. And then up and to the other side. Sort of like when we do advance and retreats, as a warm-up for when we do any of the 5 animal frolics, you want to make sure that knee is tracking. I'm not pulling the knee in, I'm not pushing it out. The knee is tracking the same direction as the toes. And the upper body movement here, again, quite simple. Inhale and the arms come up. Exhale, and when I turn to the right hand's going to swing in front and the left hand behind. Sometimes this is written out instruction-wise, if you do some research, as when you turn to the left, the right hand swings in front, the left hand naturally swings behind. But they mean turning to face the left, turning to face the right. So when I turn and fill the right foot, looking to the left, the right hand swings in front, palm back. I'm going to turn sideways for a moment so you can sort of see I better come over here, right? I'm not patting myself. It has a nice, comfortable distance. I'm maintaining the opening underneath my arm, the sunken chest, the rounded back, those kind of things. So boom, up, boom, up. And I was turning my head there, and I'm really supposed to keep the head and the eyes forward. So that's sort of inhale, exhale, inhale, exhale, inhale, exhale. And you'll probably have a little bit greater turn than I do. Again, if you know Water Tiger School, you know me. There's some things that are fused together back here. So I don't have a deep twist here. Probably deeper than I should have, given the things that are fused together. I do this thing on a regular basis. I don't know, maybe you've heard of it. It's called taiji. And I'm pretty limber for someone of my age. Let me put it that way. Well, here's a hint. I was born in the year of the tiger. The year of the tiger is coming up on February 1st. If you do the math, you know how old I am. So, settling in, the wiggle is optional. Settling down. Let me start my timer. Boom, boom. Just going to go for a couple of minutes. I didn't preview the ending. It's really quite simple. From the last rep, they just do this. 3, 2, 1. Keep the eyes and the nose forward. That's something obviously from my little, deep drill at the beginning we can tend to lose. Breathe and relax. Let the movements come together. A little rise, a little sink, the turning. Letting the head float on the neck, the sky post, above the shoulders, chest, and back. About 45 seconds left to fill out our 2 minutes. Breathing, relaxing, and releasing. A couple more turns. I always like to balance the sides. Since my first turn was to fill the right foot, my last will be to the left. I rise, and I'll let the arms drop. There you go. The first of Huang Xingxiang's 5 loosening exercises. So, a while back, I didn't check, we didn't look at the dates on this. I could have checked. I was checking dates on the t-shirt a little while ago, just so I had those. On when we did our apparent opening sequence. We've actually done it a couple times. We've done single whip apparent opening sequence as a walk. We did a comparison between the way some people do high pat on horse and the way we do within the apparent opening sequence. So you've seen that, right? The way that we get to our kicks is from that apparent opening sequence. So we have our single whip, and again, this is just sort of, the context of our groin strike. A little rock back, a little turn out, the arms cross in front, This is apparent opening, which is a transitional moment, not a posture. This is the preparation for our version of high pout on horse. This is our version of high pout on horse. This is snake spits poison. And from snake spits poison, we sort of have what I jokingly refer to as bowling for dollars with both hands. So from that last position, hopefully you don't lose your balance as I did because I was holding something that was awkward. Up, back, stepping. Now in the form, I'm stepping. I don't know if you can see that or not. And the left foot is turning over to the right. I want to make sure that the knee is going that direction. This is the form. We're going to do a regular straight lunge when we do the walking exercise. Right hand on the bottom, left hand on top. This is important now and in the walk. You want to bring them together. So, I mean, ideally, so you can't see the right hand under the left hand, but as long as you have that sort of V, that's what we want, the fingertips together. And from there, boom, turn and press down, come up to the 45, chambering the leg to turn and kick with heel, withdraw, and into twin dragons. So that's how it is in the form. From single whip, little turn out, in apparent opening, preparation, high pout on horse, snake spits poison, boom, boom, and boom. So, that's where groin strike comes from. I want to point out a couple of things. Aside from the foot thing, which will change, when we do this as a walking exercise, that foot's just going to land forward. No turn out, no turn out, no turn in, but forward. As I mentioned at the top of this, knee over ankle safest. I'm not really doing a traditional lunge here, so if that knee pushes a little bit farther, if it's okay on your knee, that's fine. Notice the back heel is up. Notice shoulders over hips. I'm not doing this. Right? That's important in the form. It's important now. If I have this uprightness, I can go down, my back knee can touch the ground, and I can come up. Hopefully a little bit more coordinated than that. Let me do that again. Take two. But if I'm down there and I'm leaning, I don't even want to try this. I can't come up. And I work on my leg strength. So that's saying something. So you want to find that place. One, that your knee is protected. And two, that you have your hips under your torso under your shoulders. So you can come up. So back heel up off the ground. So many people want to do this, and they want to keep that heel down. Doesn't work. Boom. They think this makes them lower. No. It's actually a position we usually refer to as present face for kicking. And there's no up, down, and around again. This is simply going to be the upper body movement at a range that works for you, right? This can be tweaky on people's shoulders. So it has to go out and in, out and in, out and in. That's okay. It doesn't have to be this big sweep. Big sweep. Alternating, depending upon which foot is forward, with the stacking of the hands. Left foot forward, right hand's going to be on top. Right foot forward, left hand's going to be on top. So, a little shake. If there's something you want to do to sort of warm up the legs a little bit, since our warm-up didn't really do much of that, little hip circles. Big hip circles. Do little versions of prayer squats. You can come all the way down here if you want. Or up here. Make sure the knees and the toes track the same direction. Little static one-legged hamstring stretches. I've already done a class and 2 workouts today, so I'm probably okay. So, walking lunges. You know, if you do walking lunges, there can be a lot of different versions of them. This is a little bit different. A lot of times you're doing a walking lunge. Just like that. We have groin strike. Groin strike walking. So, bounce the weight into the left, come into the right, right hand on top, left hand on top, right hand on top. A little close. Thing with this, covers a lot of distance really quickly. So I'm going to do a little diagonal, a little bit more. I'm going to bounce the weight into the left, settle the weight into the right, hands up and back. Right hand on top, left hand on top, right hand on top. Boom. If I didn't want to stay on camera, I could just keep going sideways. Right? Bounce the weight into the left. I don't like to just start and then start the movement. Or we like to do a water tiger school, a little bit more tai chi like. Be in our neutral position, bounce the weight into the opposite leg, get the other foot where you want it. As you settle your weight into that, you begin your movement. A little casual close. So, bounce the weight into the left, get that right foot where you want it. Stepping into our groin strike. Right hand on top, left hand on bottom. I've been a little inconsistent in that this morning. Left hand on top, right hand on bottom. A little casual closing, sort of more on camera. If you have a lot of space, otherwise it's 2, turn around, go back, do 2. Turn around, come back, do 2. There's not really a walking turn for this, because there's nothing really that works. So it's one of those sort of like walking the rails. When you do rails and rotations, you get to the end of your walk, you close, you turn around, and you start again. Kind of the same thing here. One more time, if you can, and here, hang on. See what I'm doing? You don't have to be down here. Find a height that works for you. So, one more pass, both directions, just 2 steps. So I don't crash the camera. Bounce the weight into the left. Here we go into the right. Bowling for dollars. Boom. Right hand on top, left hand on bottom. Left hand on top, right hand on bottom. Up and close. bounce. Right on top, left hand on bottom. Left hand on top, right hand on bottom. Little casual close. That you're gonna feel. So, brief this time through. Not a lot to what we're doing. Be careful of your knees. Right? Again, I know I covered it at the beginning. I just want to touch base again at the end. That's probably not going to be good for you, right? Knee over ankle always in a lunge is the safest. Knee a little bit farther forward, since I'm not really doing what might be referred to as a traditional lunge, might be okay if your knees are in pretty good shape. If they're not, knee over ankle. Find a height that works for you. Because it's groin strike, you don't have to be all the way down here. Maybe you're a short person and Andre the Giant is in front of you. That's the same movement. So find a height that works for you. Still, you want to be a little bit challenged, but don't challenge yourself too much. Right? You want fluidity, you want balance, you want some governance. You want to be able to repeat it, more than twice before you have to stop. So, short little video, short little walk. Again, not a lot to it. Groin Strike Walking. It's a transitional movement. It's not posture. We tend to, at Water Tiger School, if you know us, you know, transitions have names, right? You go back to, again, another how we do things differently than others. There's a whole process that gets us from the third brush knee in the 24 posture form to playing the pei pa. And there's a detour. There's a shaking hands with Andre the Giant. Don't do that anymore. It's not really protocol. There is the Egyptian hieroglyphic moment. And then you have pei pa. And the only thing there that is a posture is pei pa. So keep that in mind. As we move forward, when a warm-up is warranted, we will continue playing through the 5 loosening exercises. So, maybe not all in a row, but in the next 5, 6, 7, 8 videos, we will have gotten through the 5 loosening exercises. There'll probably be some more animal frolics in the mix, so that means return to advance and retreat from the 9 temple exercises, because that's our standard for that one. And there you go. So be careful out there. Mask up, and we really need to increase our mask game, not only in masking more often, but masking with better masks. And just, embrace science. That's all I'll say. So it'll probably be a couple of weeks. We'll see how this month unfolds. Hopefully another one before the end of January. March will be dicey. And I am not sure where we stand on an actual in-person World Tai Chi and Qigong Day this year again. So we'll see. And I'll let you know as we move forward with new releases, video-wise, where we are with that particular process as well. So I know that dates these videos, talking about the pandemic, talking about what we are and are not doing, but these videos are a child of the pandemic, so we might as well acknowledge that. Thank you all very much. As always, comments on the YouTube channel are previewed by us before they are allowed to be posted, because the YouTube algorithms don't catch all the junk. But as long as the criticism is respectful, anything good or bad, we will send through. And we'll also have a link to this video on our Facebook page, where, of course, they are open to public comment. And then it's sort of the same thing, you know, if somebody's flaming us, if somebody's being disrespectful, that comment ain't going to stay on the page. That's just the way things are. So, again, thank you for your time and attention. I hope you like this. It was interesting. It actually came out of the fact somebody was playing with our combined posture walks that we developed over the last almost 24 months now, and couldn't remember the one that had groin strike in it. And it's like, well, there isn't one with groin strike in it. And a light bulb went off in my head. So you can blame that student, whoever that was. They shall remain nameless. Thank you all very much. Take care. Stay safe. Catch you next time.